exhilaration. The religious leaders that had him crucified went into panic mode, but quickly regrouped to try and cover their tracks. Our drama for today is set during the week or two after the resurrection of Jesus. It uses a literary juxtaposition that is familiar to many in our church. It mixes the modern with the ancient. Artist Harry Anderson painted pictures of Jesus, but put him in a modern scenario. Jesus would be standing and knocking on the United Nations building, or sitting among modern children who ask him, "What happened to your hands?" Today's drama does the reverse. We're going to take a 1930s style private investigator and put him back into the time of Jesus. The religious leaders are going to hire him to find out what happened to the body of Jesus. The question on everyone's mind is, why is the tomb empty? You and I know it is because he lives. A wise man once said that if you seek, you will find. Well, my name is Seek. Justin Seek, to be exact. And I guess it was clever naming me Justin. Everyone calls me Just for short. Get it? Just Seek. Cute, huh? But it turned out to be a self-fulfilling prophecy because I am a private investigator. I seek and I find things for money. People will pay a lot if they're desperate to find something, especially if that something is a misplaced dead body. I'm on my way to talk to two religious leaders who have an interesting story to tell. Some guy named Jesus from Nazareth, crucified to death last week, his body placed in a tomb. 2 days later, the tomb is empty. Now you see him, now you don't. This might be worth looking into if the price is right.
Is your name Seek?
Seek, yeah, that's me. You are?
Our names are not important. The question is, will you take our case?
Maybe. Who was this Jesus of Nazareth?
Oh man, who was he? Are you on to tell me who was? This guy was a troublemaker.
Yeah.
Big troublemaker, huge troublemaker.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he was up to no good. Actually, this guy, remember, he was saying that he would go and he would destroy that temple that we see up there. He would destroy it and then raise it up in 3 days. In 3 days. Yeah.
That's impossible.
Yeah.
He made these grandiose claims.
Grandiose claims.
He even claimed to be the Messiah,
The Messiah.
the Christ.
The Christ.
And people would just flock to him.
Mm-hmm.
He talked about the kingdom.
The kingdom.
There's a kingdom coming. And it was here. Now, it wasn't the Roman kingdom.
Not the Roman kingdom.
But he called himself the king.
The king.
And the people were saying, we want to make you king. But,
We want to make you king.
king.
We'll make you king, yeah.
But then the Romans had him killed.
The Romans. Not us. The Romans.
They had him killed. Okay. So, they had him killed, I get it.
Yeah.
Body's missing. Why should you care?
Well, the reason we care is because these disciples,
Yeah.
whoever these guys are, see, we kind of think that they actually stole the body. Okay, now these guys are trying to, you know,
Well,
they're trying to say that
Uh-huh.
he was raised. Yeah, that's, no.
It's not going to happen. In fact, this Jesus thing, we've got to get this thing over with. There is no reason why that we should continue with this myth.
Right.
So here's what we need to do. We need to get this thing done
Done.
once and for all
Once and for all.
and put an end to it.
Put an end to it.
You, my friend, have to help us to get that done.
All right. But my fee for this case is...
Whoa. We have a standard fee.
Okay.
And that's 30 pieces of silver.
30 pieces of silver.
Yeah. 30 pieces of silver.
That's it. No higher than
Ellery Queen once said that smooth stories are usually as slick as their surface. I like a good rough story. You can scrape away the uneven places, and the dust tells you things. The religious leaders had a pretty smooth story, but some things didn't fit. What motive would the disciples have for stealing the body? Attract more followers? Why do that? Their movement was spiritual, not money-making. I needed to know more about this Jesus and why the religious leaders were so afraid of him. But first, I wanted to examine the empty tomb and speak to the centurion in charge.
Centurion, sir.
Mr. Seek, I presume?
Yeah, thanks for meeting me here. That's me. So, this is the tomb where they laid the body of Jesus. You mind if I have a little look around?
This is it, be my guest, but there's not much to see.
The centurion was correct. Off to one side was a large stone that had been rolled away. It would take several men to move that stone. The tomb was empty, except the burial linens used to wrap the body. Interestingly, the cloth that had been on Jesus' head was neatly folded off to one side. Why would the thieves take the time to do that?
So, you were there when he was crucified?
Yes, we were. My men and I were in charge that day.
What were the charges they got him convicted on?
There were actually trumped up charges. Jesus said that he would destroy the temple and he could build it back up in 3 days.
That's what they said.
That's what they said, huh?
Yeah.
And several witnesses testify to this, but their stories were kind of inconsistent. But then in front of the Jewish leaders, Jesus said, "From now on you shall see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of the Almighty and coming in the clouds of heaven." The high priest went ballistic.
Yeah, no doubt.
He tore his clothes and started yelling, "Blasphemy! He is guilty and he must die."
But Jews are not allowed to crucify people, right?
No, they're not. They just roughed him up a bit and they took him to Pilate the next day. But I could tell that Pilate wanted nothing to do with this case. See, blasphemy is a Jewish religious problem,
Yes.
not a Roman problem. So Pilate couldn't find any fault in Jesus either. Unfortunately, an ugly crowd had gathered, and the risk for a dangerous riot was very high.
Yeah.
So Pilate washed his hand in front of everybody to show that he wasn't responsible, and then handed Jesus to my men to be crucified.
So what was your personal opinion of this Jesus guy?
I have seen many men crucified in my time, but none like this man. This man was not a criminal. Criminals have this wild fear in their eyes, you know, during the mocking and the whipping and the nail hammering. But Jesus, he experienced the pain, but he was not afraid. He looked at you with a level gaze, almost like if he could see in your very soul. See, the men that we crucify, they hate us with a passion. But Jesus,